All right. Hello, everyone. Sarah Knapp here from Mappy Hour. Excited for our final Maker Series. If you aren't part of Mappy Hour yet, we are a community of urban dwelling outdoor enthusiasts. We have chapters across the country, and you can come join us and meet people who love the outdoors, go outdoors with us. We do lots of fun stuff. So check it out. And the other thing I wanted to share was thank you to Sierra Nevada Brewing Company because they supported this entire Maker Series and really helped us put together an awesome 2-year series highlighting makers across the country. Which brings me to our guest today, founder, owner, and operator of Grass Sticks, Andrew. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great. Thanks for
Great.
hanging out today.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Cool. So I think we should just start at the very beginning. Give us the Grass Sticks pitch. What do you make?
Yeah. So we make bamboo ski poles all in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, because no one makes ski poles that people get really excited about. And we do that now. So not only do we make awesome ski poles that are custom, look beautiful, and are handmade in the Rocky Mountains, but they also perform really well. They're lightweight, they're strong, they're able to bend and flex with you instead of snap or kink like the traditional aluminum ski pole would. And we back it all up with a really awesome warranty. So
sweet. That's a great pitch. I want
Thanks.
some.
I've said it a few times by now.
Yeah, right. It's like, okay. Yeah. All right. So I want to dig into all of that. I want to talk about the poles, but I'm really curious about you. Like, how did you become a business person in the outdoor world? Did you grow up with the outdoors? Was it something you came to later in life? Tell me about your connection to the outdoors.
Yeah. So connection to the outdoors in general. Yeah, I've been very, kind of grew up in a rural area in Pennsylvania, grew up walking around the woods all day, mountain biking before mountain biking was an actual sport.
Yeah.
So yeah, grew up in the very outdoors world. As far as connection to skiing, that came a little later. My family didn't grow up skiing at all. We did not grow up going on ski vacations or anything like that. But in high school, I started skiing a bit at our little local mountain in Southeast Pennsylvania. I think maybe 400 feet vertical rise, something really, really tiny like that. And in college, joined our club ski racing team, and that got me even a little further into it. Learned how to ski race, learned how to, that was my first time, I think, receiving any instruction from anyone. We had a very unofficial coach to kind of tell us what to do. And then I started coming on ski trips out west with my teammates and my roommates and stuff like that. And after my first powder day at Vail, I believe it was kind of all over. I was like, this is sweet. And then went out to Utah the year after that, had another powder day at Alta. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to ski powder, but it was enough to decide, like, all right, when I graduate college, I think I need to go ski powder as much as I can. So I did just that and moved to Steamboat Springs in 2010 after I graduated. I was a ski instructor for like 7 years, did bartending, raft guiding, all the above, sea kayak guide in Southeast Alaska. So all sorts of different stuff in the summertime, but always ski instructed in the winter. So that was the big connection to the ski industry. And that also gave me the knowledge and the idea to make cool ski poles that people cared about, because I realized that they didn't exist. So
yeah, I want to dive into that for sure. Was it like you're skiing one day and you're like, fuck these ski poles? Sorry, I shouldn't have cursed. Edit that out. F these ski poles. I want something different, or was it kind of an evolution where you were learning about material? Like, how do you even go from I'm a skier to I want to reinvent the ski pole?
Yeah, the biggest thing behind it is I wanted to make some cool ski poles for myself. And when I decided, basically looked into it, how can I make myself some ski poles? It turned out you can't just go out and buy ski pole parts by like the pair. You have to buy 100 of them. So I'm like, all right, well, if I want cool ski poles, then maybe other people do too. And in the past, I would always I spray painted my poles, just rental poles out of the trash. I'd wrap them in tape and make cool spiral designs or checker designs or something on them that, to make them mine, make them unique, make them cool looking. But when I actually wanted to go make ski poles that didn't break anymore, was another big thing. I used to go through at least a pair every year of aluminum poles. So I wanted something that was going to last and then also look really cool. So I wanted to make the pole, wanted to make that product, had to buy 100 of them because you can't just go out and buy a pair of parts. But I was also just done working for a giant ski resort,
Yeah.
And I had other I love ski instructing. I love my bartending jobs. I love my raft guiding jobs, but I just, running a business and owning a business is something, and working for myself is something I always wanted to do. So those two things combined kind of gave me the nudge and the push I need to make grass sticks happen.
Yeah. So interesting. So it's both aesthetic and function
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
were the pain points. And did you do like market research on the ski pole industry, or was it kind of like, I'm going to dive into this and just like see how it goes and see if people want it? How did you approach that?
Yeah, it was mostly the latter at first. I did not do any research really at all. I did some research to, figure out, are there other bamboo ski pole companies out there? Like, how many direct competitors are there going to be? Are there at least any companies in the United States that make ski poles, or like, am I going at this alone? So some really basic stuff like that. But for the most part, it was I just started making prototypes. So in the fall of 2014 is kind of when I decided, like, all right, actually, I had a ski instructor. I was ready for a change. I had a ski instructing job lined up in Telluride, so I was going to make the move from Steamboat to Telluride. Big steep mountains, a little different than what Steamboat is. Super excited about that. I had housing lined up. I had the job. And I was like, I'm going to stay in Steamboat and make ski poles, because Steamboat's a wonderful place to start a small business. It's a little tougher to do in Telluride. But yeah, mostly just started testing it out. Again, I had lived in Steamboat already since 2010. I was pretty connected in the ski school world here, at least, and therefore the ski industry. I was a coach for a while, so I had a lot of connections to just get poles out there and get them in people's hands. And that's what I did that winter. Just, if I knew you, you got free poles. If I didn't know you, you still got a screaming discount. I just needed to get poles out there. So after that full winter of testing and breaking really bad bamboo that we don't use anymore, figuring things out, I decided that, people were happy and they were selling, and I decided to go full on with it. So after that, I did some more research, but initially it was just getting poles in people's hands and trying it out.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of the makers that we've interviewed, it started as like a passion project, or like what you're saying, where it's like, oh, I want a backpack that's different than what's on the market, so I'm just going to make it myself. And then it turns out that it's something a lot of people want, and it, becomes this full blown business. So it's a really cool, it's a really cool kind of genesis from just passion and personal interest to an actual, a small business. So it's awesome. What about bamboo? So how do you go from, okay, the poles are aluminum and I want to make them bamboo. Did you read about bamboo? Do you have like a mechanical engineering background? Like how did the like material type occur? Cause that seems like that's a pretty, core part of the product.
It is. Yeah. And we also make bamboo paddles now. And so it's what we do is bamboo products. Initially, I just wanted to make a ski pole that was unique, that stood out, that people cared about. And going on in my head, I was like, all right, what can we make it out of? Can I find some type of like recycled aluminum from some other manufacturing process? Like, how do we make this a sustainable project at the same time? Pretty quickly, bamboo just became the answer. All ski poles used to be made out of bamboo. So originally ski poles were bamboo. So I did not invent the bamboo ski pole. I cannot be credited with that. But I like to think that we did make it better. Ski poles stopped being made out of bamboo once globalization and industrial manufacturing became a thing. And obviously it's a lot easier to crank out an extruded aluminum tube than make a handmade bamboo ski pole. That is, every diameter is different. It has to be handmade almost, because you're working with a natural product in that sense. So bamboo came second, but it was a quick second in the kind of initial planning and design process. I didn't even make ski poles out of anything else first. And then it was a matter of just finding the right type of bamboo. So it was a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, just talking to really anyone I can. And there's not that much out there as far as bamboo professionals go. But we eventually found the right species. And then it even took a few years after that to find the right manufacturer, or no, I'm sorry, not manufacturer, but supplier to work with, harvester. And initially we had to go through a domestic source, and then eventually, once we had the volume, we could go and order straight from the source in India, and order that large order from overseas. So,
wow. Yeah, it's like a totally different type of business I'm very unfamiliar with.
Yeah. Still learning.
Yeah, right. Super cool. And in terms of the making part, did you have experience, like we did a really cool video with you guys where you did like the behind the scenes with actually cutting the bamboo and putting the the customizations on. Were you all self-taught? How did you learn how to use all the machinery and shape it and do those elements of it?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed, working with my hands, building things. I was a carpenter for like 8 years, I think. That was my high school job. So, pretty experienced, familiar with using saws and power tools and building things, basic how to take measurements, how to make things. So I kind of grew up with that experience and always had it. I did go to school for physics and civil engineering. So
something in there.
Into it at all. I'm probably completely wasting my degree and should have gone to school for business. But
I think the same.
So it was there, I had it. And I took some classes in material science and basic stresses and forces and how things bend and stuff like that. So I like to think that gives me a well-rounded idea. But no, for the most part, just I grew up doing construction. My dad was a handy person, taught me how to work on cars, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, my general handiness, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Self-taught. No one knows how to make ski poles.
Right.
Everyone we hire, we always kind of joke around like, hey, cool, you're hired. Like, because no one has experience in making ski poles. So
right. Very niche.
Yep.
What is the biggest challenge of working with bamboo?
It's just so variable. Again, it's a natural product, and we do everything we can to work with our harvester to make sure that we're getting the best of the best that we can get our hands on. But it still all comes in like different diameters, different strengths, different wall thicknesses, different flexinesses. So it's taken a lot of learning and kind of manufacturing changes on our end to smooth that process out and get to the point where we are today. If I look back on the first like 2 years even and think about all the changes we've made in that manufacturing process to make things go more smoothly or to like sort things out to make sure everyone's getting a stronger ski pole, to work with our manufacturer to figure out even what specs we need to try to have them adhere to. It's been a long learning process, again, as opposed to just an extruded piece of aluminum tubing that comes out of a machine and everything's the exact same diameter. So it's been a process, and we continue to make those improvements. But after almost 10 years now, I like to think we're getting close to like the optimum manufacturing process that we have. So
yeah, very cool. I'm sure there's always tweaks though, right?
Always.
The game. What about personally? Are you still like able to ski as much with the business or, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's the whole push behind it. Like I said, part of it was, of course I love the product we make. I love our ski poles. But I wouldn't be doing it if it didn't support my lifestyle and my employees' lifestyle. Like making ski poles in Steamboat Springs, which is a very expensive place to live these days, is not a good business decision. Again, we're here to ski, and making ski poles supports that lifestyle. So yes, I still ski a ton. We just got back from an awesome trip in Taos. I might be rocking a bit of a goggle tan. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, we
part of the brand
on here. We do not miss powder days. So
awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's great.
Cool. And so what's coming up for grass sticks? Where are you guys going next?
Yeah. A lot of it, as far as like the business side of things goes, is just managing growth. We've been growing pretty steadily at like 20-30% every year. We're in every REI in the country right now. So it's just growing and dealing with that. I'd say for me, like one of the biggest challenges is, even more than working with bamboo, is just managing people, being a good boss, being a good manager. We've got 7-8 employees right now. So making sure everyone's happy and again has a job that also sustains the lifestyle that they want. So we're just trying to make that happen.
Yeah.
I volunteer a lot in town for affordable housing issues because that is I mean, every place has that issue right now, but here in Steamboat, we have a very limited housing supply, and a lot of people are, there's a lot of demand for that. And a lot of that demand are people that don't live or work here. So a big challenge and kind of next step is like, how do we make this work in Steamboat for this foreseeable future?
Right.
As far as next for like products and stuff, we hope to have some new grip styles coming out. It's a hope of ours that we can have some new molds made for our grips and our baskets and our parts. Now that we don't love them what they are right now, but I want something that's uniquely ours. And then that also gives us the opportunity to bring some of that manufacturing for our components into the United States if we can do that as well. And previously that hasn't been possible because we just need the high volume to do that. You know, you can't get a mold made for $15,000 if we're only making 3,000 poles a year. So as our volume increases, you know, hopefully we'll do like 9,000 next year. We're able to kind of make some of those changes. So
Yeah.
we also make paddles. We're working on getting paddles out there a bit more. We've got a new paddle blade in the works for our rafting paddle. A lot of us here are previous raft guides, so we're really excited about that one. So yeah, that's about the gist.
So that's a lot of stuff. That's great.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, that's all I got. Thank you so much for being part of this. And if people haven't checked out Grass Sticks yet, obviously grasssticks.com, and on the Mappy Hour Instagram, we have a really cool reel where we went kind of behind the scenes to see the process and actually gave away a pair of custom ski poles, which were really great. So yeah, we loved those. Thanks for engraving Mappy Hour on some poles.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for taking us in mind and having us be a part of it. It was super fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's all we got for now, and go get some ski poles and go skiing.
Awesome.
All right, bye, y'all.